The 4th of October 2017 from Max Verstappen's pass for the lead on Lewis Hamilton, to 30 seconds to forget for Julian Palmer, we present the most dramatic moments from Senegal from the driver's perspective. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. He may not have had their ultimate pace in the race, but Valtteri Bottas got off to an absolute flyer in Malaysia, coming so close to picking off both Red Bulls. In the end, Max Verstappen was able to hang tough around the outside of Turn 2 and maintain second place, but had the Finn been able to get ahead and make a nuisance of himself, who knows how much further ahead Lewis Hamilton would have been able to scamper upon the meat in the sandwich. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. Those on the Force India pit wall must have closed their eyes as Sergio Perez and Esteban Ocon went wheel-to-wheel through Sepang's often treacherous opening turns at the start, especially when Felipe Massa made it a three-way fight. In such situations, the man in the middle is often left with nowhere to go, as was the case here, with Ocon banging into the side of the Williams and sending him into a half-spin. That both drivers escaped with very little damage was somewhat amazing. Start as you mean to go on. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. Last year it was Fernando Alonso who made a flying start from the back row of the grid in Sepang. This time it was Sebastian Vettel. By the apex of Turn 1, the Ferrari driver had made up 3 places and, by straddling the curb, avoided contact with Carlos Sainz Toro Rosso cleanly through the first corners, something he didn't manage last year. The German pulled off a further 3 passes over the remainder of the lap to move up to P13. The fight back was on. Verstappen claims a rare prize. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. When Lewis Hamilton looked in his mirrors and saw Max Verstappen looming large, he had a choice to make. I had to really make a decision when Max was closing me down, to not fight him and risk him crashing into me, explained the World Championship leader, because he's going to give it everything. He's got nothing to lose, whereas I've got everything to lose. So I didn't make it very hard for him. Whether Hamilton made his life easier or not, this was a rare moment. Passes on the Britain don't come around very often. Indeed, getting in position to do so is often achievement in itself, a past 4 corners in the making. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. Daniel Ricciardo began his lap 9 pass of Valtteri Bottas by opening the DRS on the pit straight. He ended it 4 corners later after a well-judged and very respectful wheel-to-wheel duel with the Finn. The only problem for the Australian was that this move came several laps too late. By the time had got the job done, the leading duo of Verstappen and Hamilton were 8 seconds up the road. Alonso and Magnussen square off. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. The opening turns weren't particularly kind to Kevin Magnussen in Malaysia. A few laps before being inadvertently tagged by Julian Palmer at Turn 1. See below. The Dane rubbed elbows with Fernando Alonso at Turn 2 and was bluntly nudged aside as the duo fought over P13. Neither driver was happy with the other's conduct, as evidenced by their subsequent team radio messages, but there was nothing for the stewards to see here, just hard racing. 30 seconds to forget. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. In F1, one thing can lead to another in no time at all, and in Malaysia Julian Palmer provided the proof. Fresh from spinning at Turn 14, the result, according to the man himself, of a sudden increase in tailwind, the Briton then pirouetted again at Turn 1, clipping Kevin Magnussen, who had been battling in the process. I had very hot rears from the first spin and then spun turning to rejoin, Palmer explained. Then I had Verstappen lap me and then pull right in front, so I had no arrow. It was ambitious trying to keep Kev behind after I spun once. Blue flags. Blue flags. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. Lap traffic can be both a blessing and a curse when you're trying to catch the driver in front. In the case of Sebastian Vettel and his latter's pursuit of Daniel Ricciardo, it was definitely the latter. McLaren's Fernando Alonso was the man inadvertently caught in the middle of the battle for the final podium spot, staying ahead of Vettel through the opening sequence of bends before the Ferrari slipped past into Turn 4. Come on Alonso, I thought you were better than that, bemoaned Vettel over team radio, but while the German was undoubtedly hindered by the letter of law, the Spaniard did nothing wrong. A bit of afters. Unfortunately, we are unable to play the video at this time. Error code unknown. Sebastian Vettel said Lance Stroll had turned into him. Stroll said Vettel was driving too fast and too recklessly. The stewards said no one was to blame. There was a lot to unpick in the Vettel-Stroll post-race incident shown above from Vettel's and the trailing Grosjean's viewpoints, but whoever side you're on, most would agree that it was one of the strangest accidents of recent times. And if it ends up costing Vettel a 5-place grid penalty for a change of gearbox in Japan, it could be championship-defining.